Welcome back to the Political Theater, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. Hope you guys had a good weekend. It was a slow news weekend, right? Not much going on. I don't know. What was everyone doing this weekend? Okay, never mind. Just enjoying the weekend, monitoring the situation like everybody else. It was very interesting this weekend. Obviously, we have got a whole lot to talk about tonight, guys. So I'm glad you guys are all back here with me on Monday here. We're going to go over the weekend and the results of the weekend, the interesting things, the ridiculous, terrible takes that have happened as a result of the weekend. And we're going to talk about the general panic that is existing everywhere, because Trump has just been Trump yet again. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. So make sure you guys share the link out wherever you guys may be listening to us at. If you guys are on Substack, Rumble, YouTube, wherever you guys are tuning in at. If you guys are on X, make sure you guys follow along, and make sure you guys, if you want to join into the space, you guys will be able to come up here on the space and join in here very shortly. But before we do anything, obviously we need to talk about everything that happened over the weekend. Just if in case somehow you missed it, we happened to attack Iran, and the supreme leader is not so supreme anymore. Apparently Khamenei is dead. He is already dead, and then his replacement is also dead. And then the guy that was supposed to be next in line after that is also probably dead. So watching this has been very interesting because the reaction from the conservative side, there's a number of people on the right that have decided that, oh my God, Trump has, betrayed everything. Oh my Lord, he's attacked Iran. We're going to get into another Iraq. It's going to be the end of days. It's endless at this point. It's the constant reiteration of, oh my God, Trump, this, the walls are closing in. MAGA is going to collapse. Somehow Trump is going to get thrown out this time. He's definitely not done it right. There's no way that this can go well. Well, I will say there appears to be a number of differences for this, and we're going to get into all of those. We're going to get into every bit of the differences here, because this is not Iraq, for one. This is not Bush. This is not Obama. This is not any president that we've ever had before, because Trump has yet again proven that he is a different kind of leader. He is a different kind of person. He is a different type of leader. He is a different attitude when he looks at this. And the other part about it is that it definitely appears that our military is not playing games anymore. We've watched for my entire lifetime, by the way. I'm in my 30s. I have lived every single instance of this Middle East nonsense my whole life. I've been watching from Desert Storm 1 all the way till now. We have been in constant conflict in the Middle East, and it has been this endless, constant churning of, oh my goodness, we've got to do this, and then there's this happening, and then these people are attacking, and then we've got to have a regime change there, and all this. The difference here is that Trump has already laid out very clearly that we're not interested in specifically in the difficult part that everyone talks about. I listen to the media right now. Oh my God, he has no plan whatsoever. Well, okay, so if Trump has no plan, how is Khamenei already dead? Really? I mean, if there's no plan at all, he's got no idea what he's doing. He's just flying by the seat of his pants. How did we already kill the supreme leader? How come supreme leader is now a Taco Bell value option rather than the leader of a country? I mean, can someone answer that for me? I mean, I don't understand how we're going to sit here and claim that there is zero plan, but everybody's dead, and the entire Iranian Navy's at the bottom of the ocean. And by the way, oil's not spiking. What's happening? Oh my goodness, it's like he might know what he's doing or something. There is so many people that have no ability to read Trump at all. They can't figure him out. They don't know what to do about him. They don't know what to say about him. They don't believe him. They don't see that he actually has any strategy at all wherever he goes. He's always just, oh my God, he's hopeless. He's got no idea what's going on. He's Trump. He's completely, he has zero plan. And my favorite of the media journalists, the legacy journalists specifically, there's a bunch of articles from these people that are out here saying, oh my goodness, Trump he doesn't know what he's doing. He's contradicting himself every time he talks to us. Like, he's telling us something different every time. Yeah. Wait, so he's supposed to tell you what is it? We're going to telegraph exactly what we're going to do. We're going to tell the whole media, all of the journalists. We're going to tell everyone every aspect of our military plans. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And Pegseth today, if you guys didn't watch that press conference this morning, you guys should go watch it. It was great. Hegseth reiterated that. He said, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell him. I'm not going to tell any of you because you don't need to know. And that's exactly right. Why on earth do we need to know the details, the very minute details of some sort of operation like this? The reality is we don't. We don't need to know. Okay, we don't need to know that stuff. You don't need to know that. I don't need to know that. And anybody out here who thinks that they have some sort of grasp on what's happening right now, they don't. You know, the great part about this is for the left wants to scream about what Trump's doing as if this is the end of the world. Oh my God, Trump has done it. You know, he's done it now. Oh my goodness, the strong Iranians, they're going to, well, they're all dead. So that they're not so strong. I'm not too worried about that part of it. But the idea that Trump is going to tell anybody what is happening is just hilarious. No way that he's going to tell you guys what's happening. He's not telling anybody. And every time he does a media interview, it's a different statement. Oh, we're pursuing this. Oh, all of the people that my favorite was the absolute trash talk that he was giving. This was to A News. He was talking to them. He said, all of the people, the second and third place people, they're dead too. So it's kind of difficult to have a next lineup. Now, but reads on that, whether or not he was talking about the regime having next lineup. I personally think it would be way funnier if just saying, I had 3-2 really thought would have been great for this position, but, I happened to kill them too. Oops. I mean, it's classic Trump. There's nothing about this that's different from anything that he normally does. He is telling you nothing because he's not going to. He's not going to say anything until we're done with it. And there's no reason for him to tell anybody anything. But the media is just, oh my goodness, we don't know. We just don't know. There is so much slop that is going out right now. I mean, there's boomers believing that video game footage is real footage of aircraft carriers being hit, which is just like people. I don't know how to get this through to people, but if you think that every aircraft carrier happens to have like a professional camera crew that just hangs out on the deck and records and then releases the video to the footage of our sailors and the firefighter, like who is recording? Like what are you doing? I mean, come on, people. Like, have at least some sort of critical thinking skills to understand that maybe a video that looks like it's shot from the deck of a nearby ship may not really be a real video. I mean, just a thought. I mean, I don't know. If you really believe that they're just releasing footage of, in the middle of firefights and, oh, yeah, there's a guy on the deck of the ship. He's just recording all of it. Yeah. Come on, guys. I mean, just at least have some sort of critical thinking. And then, of course, you've all the Iranian bots out here that are posting old footage of the old missile strikes that happened in Israel and claiming, oh, my God, that's it. Oh, look at look at the barrage of missiles. This is unbelievable. It's broken through. And it's endless. It's endless stuff. My personal favorite are the people right now talking about hypersonic missiles every second. This has annoyed me for a while, the fact that everyone talks about hypersonics as if it's some sort of cool new thing. Hypersonic doesn't mean anything. It's a buzzword that's been put out there. All it means is that missiles have a better maneuverability. They're not faster. You see all these videos like, oh my God, did you see how fast the hypersonic missile was? And there's the videos of, lasers, like super fast missiles hitting things. Like, guys, the Russians had Mach 20 plus missiles in the shut up. I mean, it's not real. It's not realistic at all. It has nothing to do with anything. But they don't know that. So everybody talks about the hypersonics. And then the next phase of this, which is we're running out of ammunition. The munitions, we're low on ammo. Are you serious? Like, if you believe that the United States military, the world's most powerful military in history, is running low on munitions after 2 days, you need to be checked into a clinic. I mean, are you retarded? Yes, is the answer to the question. I'll answer it for you. You're an idiot if you believe that the United States military is running out of ammunition and munitions 2 days into this conflict. It is the dumbest thing ever. Even Qatar came out today, actually fact-checking Bloomberg. It's the strangest thing I've ever said. They're like talking about, we're not out of missiles. We're not even close to out of missiles. We're perfectly well stocked. It's just incredible, though. Everyone out here claiming that this is going way. There's even people that are believing that the Iranians have the upper hand, or that we owe this because Israel told Trump to do it. There is very little that I believe about anything being said right now, but a bunch of people that don't know anything. They don't have any inside information because the Trump administration has managed to lock these leaks down to the point that there is no leaks anymore. We don't kill the leader of a foreign country, a major geopolitical adversary in the region for us. You don't manage to kill him and all of his other generals within 12 hours if there's leaks. So if you think you've got some sort of inside track into inside information, you don't know anything. Okay, no one knows anything. And the only people that do know aren't telling you. Okay, the only people that have any idea what's really happening are the people in our military. That is it. That is the only people that have any clue what's going on. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to say anything. The reality is Trump may actually be the greatest foreign policy leader of this, I don't know, but more than my lifetime, I would say. I mean, even if you go back to Reagan during the 1980s resolved the hostage crisis, and he had a Operation Praying Mantis where he sank half of the Iranian half the Iranian Navy. Well, Trump sank the whole Navy. Okay, like there is no Iranian Navy. You can tell Iranian Navy because oil is not going. Oil has moved up like 5% or something. It's not moved up at all. I mean, it's barely changed even remotely. That's what you can tell. The market doesn't believe there's going to be some sort of major disruption. Otherwise, oil will be over $80 a barrel. Nothing is happening. Of the Iranian, whoever their current person in charge is, I don't know who they are now. I mean, what supreme leader are we on? 5, 6? I mean, that's got a job nobody wants. They're like, oh, who's going to be supreme leader today? He's going to last about 50 minutes. That's not a great thing. It's probably going to end up being a Mossad operative or something that's going to end up being the supreme leader at the end of this. But watching this, Trump has decided that he is not playing games and he is done. You know, it's pretty clear that Trump, everyone's wondering, there's a bunch of people who talk, oh my God, we've been at war with Iran for 50 years and giving all these, events and attacks that they've done. Who cares? Answer to all that. Who cares? Who cares what the reason? My reasoning on it is, they were trying to work out a deal with Trump. That's what was happening. A negotiation happening. And this goes back a year at this point. Back in the summer last year before we hit Bordeaux, before we did any of that, they were trying to work out a deal with Trump. They didn't work it out. They kept stalling and, lying and doing nonsense. And so Trump took away Bordeaux. Boom, gone, off the table. Done. Well, after that happened, you probably should have actually listened to him and tried to make a deal and actually negotiated in good faith. That's what you should have done. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. The Iranians decided that, they were going to spit in Trump's hand again and post a bunch of crap on social media about how they are the most powerful people in the world and they've got missiles for days and all of this nonsense. And then Trump blew them all out of the water again. And this time, there's no one left. When they say the Iranian leadership now, who are they referring to? I mean, at this point, what exactly is left? Who is there? Who is the Iranian leadership right now? There isn't one. Okay, there isn't one right now. They're all dead. And he's going to keep killing them until someone pops up and says, okay, we surrender. There's everyone, the typical talking head pundits when they talk about this right now, they have no clue what to say. Because Trump's not giving them anything. Every time Trump talks to them, he has something else. The only information you're going to get is going to come directly addressed by President Trump or from the press conference that you heard this morning. You're not getting anything. So you're all in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. And all these people screaming, oh my God, it's there's no plan. There's nothing. Sure. Okay. There's zero plan, but everybody's dead. We've only lost 6 soldiers in this entire event so far, even though we've taken out the so-called extreme, very, very powerful, much powerful supreme leader, and all of his allies are all dead. And what's weird? Strangely enough, Russia and China aren't interested in getting involved. Why is that? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Why exactly is Russia and China going, oh crap, now we can't do anything at all? I mean, this entire ordeal has proven that Trump knows how to play high-stakes games better than anybody else, and nobody gets it. I don't know how people don't get it. Trump's made it pretty clear his entire position the whole time. I mean, Trump has said pretty consistently for, his entire life what he wants to do and how he's going to do it, and no one believes him. I don't understand it. It's the same thing that happened last year before he struck Bordeaux. He said the same sort of thing. They need to make a deal. They didn't make a deal. Now they're dead. Okay, well, then the next line of people are dead. Then the next line of people are dead. Eventually, the Iranian people, Iran is a huge country. Okay, there's a huge amount of people that live in Iran. There's a large country. They've got a very large amount of it. There's 93 million people, I think, is the population of Iran. So, at some point, the Iranian people are going to have the ability to just walk over top of the dead IRGC people and take over their country. Now, what happens after that? Who knows? But the deal is, everybody that out here is saying, oh, we need to have some sort of plan and contingency. We need to get NGOs involved to help rebuild the country. I don't think that's going to happen, okay? I don't think we're doing this nation-building crap anymore. I think the result of this, at the end of all of this, is going to be that Trump is going to walk over top of the dead bodies of all these people that should have made a deal, and then he's going to say, good luck. It's your country. The regional powers around here will assist, and we're not going to do anything outside of that. We're not going to put boots on the ground. We're not going to set up a base. So long as the IRGC can no longer affect any power in the region, he's going to consider it a success, and everybody else will too. And everyone is going to sit here and scream that he doesn't know what he's doing. Oh my God, it's all over. We're at war. We're going to be at war for the next 20 years. My guess, this is like another week, okay, at the most. I mean, at this point, watching all of the insane takes out of the media, there's, oh my God, they've shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Well, really? Well, why is oil not over $80 a barrel? I guess I don't get it. Maybe does anyone have an answer? No. Okay, well, the entire Iranian Navy is sunk. They keep blowing up every single aspect of their missile technology. We have complete air superiority. There's nothing left of this group, okay? And it just turns out that you can just do things when you actually unleash our military. And that's something that Pegseth said this morning in his press conference. He said, no, we're not doing this, rules of engagement bullshit. Okay, that's not happening anymore. We're not playing the rules of engagement crap. We're not going to restrict our military. We're going to kill them. We're going to kill them all. And that's what they've been doing. And it's been working pretty well so far. If there was some sort of major event that was going to happen as a result of that, where is it? Okay, what's the next major wave of the Iranians taking out something or doing something? As far as I can tell, they've hit one base, one of our bases they've hit. They've hit another area that's had almost nothing in it. There were 6 people that have died, and outside of that, we've wiped out all of their leadership, all of their missile structure, their entire Navy. My guess is, by the end of this week, there's not going to be an Iranian military infrastructure at all. There's not going to be anything left, because they're all going to be dead. And then we can figure it out afterwards. And if everyone wants to come out here and say, oh my God, it's going to be, we're going to do, democracy building and all this crap, regime change has never really been the problem, okay? Everyone talks about it. Everybody uses that buzzword and says regime change, oh my God. What happens if there's regime change? There's wars, there's this, there's that. That's not the problem, okay? Americans are not necessarily mad about the concept of regime change. What they are upset about is baseless, endless, zero-goal wars where we sit around and do nothing and don't have any idea how we're going to end it. We're just there, and we just put there, and then we have them fighting forever. That is what upsets people. Okay, it's the endless conflict with zero resolution that lasts forever, that just keeps going on and on and on and on, and we get to hear about it on the news every day for the next 20 years. That's what upsets people. Okay, my guess is if Trump pulls this off, wipes these people out, and we have a clear, obvious victory very quickly, that he's going to be considered one of the greatest leaders in the history of the country by being able to do it so quickly. That's what I think the options are. I think that there is a real chance that if Trump pulls this off and actually manages to do this right, that we're not going to have this problem anymore. Okay? What do you think the rest of the world sees when Trump takes Maduro out of his house in the middle of the night in an hour? Okay, you just whoop, yep, no, there. Okay, now there's no Maduro. Okay, and then he within a week sails half of our armada across the world and obliterates the Iranians. This is within a month, people. It hasn't even been that long. What do you think the Cuban government is doing right now? I think the Cuban government right now is in full panic mode. They will do anything to make sure they don't get Maduro'd or Khamenei'd. Okay, that's what I think is happening currently. I think that every single one of our adversaries around the world has been reminded that the United States is the world's superpower for a damn reason. That's what's happened. That's what's really happened as a result of this. We are the world's most powerful military and the most powerful nation, and we are reminding everybody that we're not playing games anymore. With President Trump in office, there is no more of this, well, this could happen, so we need to have a committee meeting on it. No, you're dead. That's what happens. You're dead. You're dead. Your wife's dead. Your family's dead. Every single person that is in line to become the next leader of your shithole country is dead if you screw with us. And that's exactly how it should be. That's exactly how it should be. We should not have to deal with these small nations pestering us, attacking our ships, attacking our people. No, no more. You're dead. And that's been made very clear. And I think that is going to be one of the greatest things that Trump has ever done. We'll see. Everybody can have their own take on it and their own opinion on where we're going after this. But the reality is that with Trump in charge, I have a pretty good high confidence that we're going to be just fine. This is not going to last for 20 years. This isn't going to last a month. What's going to be left of Iran in a month? If this went on for a full month, I don't even think there would be anything left of it. Turn it into a parking lot. The fun part is watching the Iranian people that have actually, the dissidents that have left the country. They're all celebrating in the streets. But, according to the media, that's not happening. No, it's, oh my God, the poor Iranian people. They seem to be pretty happy. If I haven't seen, it looks like they're okay. I was actually last year I was in D.C. and ran across a pro-regime change Iranian rally. That was really interesting. I was there for a completely unrelated event, and I happened to come across it. Very interesting, because no one covered it. No one wanted to talk about the fact that the Iranians seemed very happy about the idea of us wiping out the Ayatollahs. If the people want it and you give them the option to have it happen, I think that that's probably the best way we can go. So we'll see. There's no other way to look at it because, as I said before, no one knows. Intentionally so. No one knows what the next step is. No one knows what the plan is. And you're not going to find out. So you get to be on the same ride as the rest of us. But I am personally not going to be surprised if Trump pulls this off. Not one bit. All right, guys, welcome to the show tonight. Thank you guys for being here this evening. If you guys would like to come up and join, you're more than welcome to come up now and come up. If you want to come, if you're on any of the other platforms and you want to come up here and talk, you got to go to x.com, go to @WCDispatch, and you can join the show and chime in yourself. We're obviously going to be covering the Iran war for the most of the show. There's not really much else to talk about. There's a couple small things. There's the Crockett and Tallarico Democrat primary happening this evening in Texas, which is reasonably interesting. But that's minor news compared to what's really going on right now. A couple other small things, but we'll mainly be focusing on the Iran war. If you guys have anything you want to say, you're more than welcome to come up here and join us. Jacktron, you came up here. How has your weekend been monitoring the situation?
It has been a very good mix of emotions. On one hand, I couldn't be happier that Khomeini is now dead, and I will also, like you, I am now rejoicing in the fact that the Iranians Navy's new a national anthem is "Under the Sea," so that's very exciting.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Under the sea.
But the thing that's really just shocking to me is just seeing how many people who are supposedly on our side were right at the top of this, just immediately sided with, started spouting Iranian propaganda over this. Like, really, it was just shocking. Like, you see, I don't need to name the names, but you know who they are.
Well, I mean, listen, there's a whole bunch of people, and I said this a couple days ago, but the reality is that there's a lot, the majority of the people that are upset about us vaporizing Khomeini, the majority of those people are women, gay, or have a political podcast. And actually, it usually overlaps somewhat. So it's like maybe 2 out of the 3, or maybe even 3 out of the 3. That's pretty much it. I mean, those are the people that are upset that we've done this. Those are the people that are mad that we have gone forward with this, is that they don't have anything else to talk about. So they got to be, oh my God, end of the world, that Trump did something. I always find it so funny to me that everyone gets so confused that Trump did something, even though Trump has been pretty consistent in just doing things all the time. But according to them, we're going to have another Iraq. It's the end of the days. Everything is over. Trump has betrayed us all. The walls are closing in. It's just amazing to me. It really is just amazing to me that this is where we keep doing.
Like one of my favorite, and of course you also get this from the left. And I think so far that my favorite one has been from my favorite horror author, who said Trump, this is the guy who was too chicken shit to serve in Iraq, when in fact the same guy was avoided serving in Iraq because of the medical excuse of high blood pressure and flat feet.
You know, I watching these guys, watching anybody that's upset about this stuff. To me,
I'm talking about Stephen King, by
I
the
know
way.
you're talking about Stephen King. I'm just talking about just generally here. All the people that are upset that this has happened, really? I mean, do you really? Are you going to try and give me a reason that Khamenei, the Iranian dictator that has essentially oppressed his people forever now, that this guy is somehow very important that we don't upset him? It's very bad that we've struck them, and of course, you always get the people that go, "Oh, it's all Israel." Because the United States has zero reason to involve themselves in Iran. There's no strategic benefit at all of us attacking Iran and wiping there's not like they're a major supplier of oil to our major geopolitical enemy, adversary, China. There's no reason at all. I don't know. I'm not sure I buy that. I think that there could be like a million reasons that we want to get rid of Khamenei. I think that there's a number of things that would be useful for us. But the bigger part about it to me is what I said before, which is that it's time the world is reminded that we are a superpower for a damn reason. We are. I mean, and everyone has seemed to have forgotten that. Oh my goodness, Trump is he is upsetting the balance of this and that. My favorite of the freaking journalists are my favorite, though, out of all these people. These people have been wrong about everything for 15 years. And they want to come out here and say, oh my God, Trump is he's workshopping what he's going to do with Iran with us. No, he's not. He doesn't care about what you have to say. Of all people, why would Trump care what journalist from the legacy press corps, why on earth would he give a damn what you guys have to say? But that's what they think. They believe that they are far more important than they actually are. That's how it actually goes. They really do believe that they are super important and that their information or their take on something is worthy of the president's time. No, it's not. He doesn't give a damn about you, but you are useful for him. You're very useful to be able to telegraph completely meaningless information to all of our adversaries all over the world. I mean, that's what you're really doing. So enjoy your role as being the puppet master for Trump, so he can just put out random shit and no one has any idea what he's doing. I mean, the smoke coming from Trump, I do love the shit talk. I do. I find it very funny. I think one of the funniest lines I heard so far was when he was talking about the opening at this role of supreme leader. He said, "Yeah, I'm creating jobs in Iran too. It's great." It's just he's just such a troll. It is so funny to me. And watching all these people that can't seem to grasp that maybe this is a good strategy. I mean, what do you say to these people? They have been wrong about everything forever. So, they've never managed to figure Trump out. So what do you tell these people? You don't tell them anything. I just make fun of them. I've just been making fun of. I like there was one of the Iranian ministers or whatever the hell it is, one of the guys that still has access to his Twitter account, whether or not he's alive or not, we don't know. But we will not negotiate with the United States. I was like, well, that's all right. What about your replacement? Give it a couple days. Think it over. You might come to a different realization further into this. Right now you're saying, oh no negotiating with the United States at all. But give it a couple days. Don't just throw it out the window so quickly, buddy. You might think about that a couple days from now. Go ahead, Jack Tron.
No, I mean, you're right. It is just funny, just you really think that Trump is going to listen to you? Trump has been consistent on this issue for decades. I mean, I just posted a video today talk of Trump back in 1980 talking about how, we should, take down the Iranians. You really think that if Trump is going to wants to do something, he's not going to no one is going to talk him out of it. Nobody.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the other part of it. It's, again, another instance of Trump being Trump. And, whoa, my God, he did the thing that he said he was going to do. Whoa! How did he do that? What, you mean to tell me that he's been saying that he's going to do something for 50 years and then he did it? Whoa. No, impossible. You mean it was just, it's so funny. These people can't grasp it. They don't have any concept of how Trump actually follows through with things that he says, even if he said them 20 years ago. I mean, it really is fun to watch, though. It really is fun. All right, I'm sending the show to a couple people.
I mean, 100%. It's absolutely fun to watch. Sorry, I'm just typing something while I'm.
You're fine. I'm sending the link out to a couple people to see if we can get some people to join the show. Guys, if you want to come up here and talk, you're more than welcome to do so. Just come up here and request. Anybody's more than welcome to come up here and talk. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Iran war. There hasn't been any major updates today, really. I did see that there was supposedly, Kane said something along the lines of that there's going to be an even larger amount of force used today. So we'll see what exactly that means. Seeing how we already sank their whole navy. I mean, I'm not sure what's more force than sinking their whole navy in a day, and killing their leader and the backup leader and the backup to the backup of the leader. I mean, I don't know what is more than that. So I guess we'll find out. It should be pretty entertaining. Maybe we'll run out of we'll run out of bombs before we get there, though. According to the legacy press, this is my favorite thing in the world. The legacy press wants the United States to fail so badly in everything that they tell everybody that, oh my God, we are running out. It's happening today. It's just so fun to me. We get Jordan in here. Fight to co-host. There we go. But we'll see what the next phase of this is. My guess is, like I said, that I don't think this is going to last as long as people think it is. That's what everybody's sitting here wondering. Oh, my God, Trump has said it's going to be 30 days or something. Like, Trump's just saying stuff to say stuff. He's not actually, he's not giving any real information out. And that's what is driving people nuts. They can't stand the fact that he's not giving them any real information. He's just saying things. And that doesn't compute for the journalists. They're used to being able to be inside information, get everybody, they're the ones that know. And now you don't know anything. I do enjoy, there's a couple people today that have been like, oh my God, but what about freedom of the press? Sure. Yeah. I mean, freedom of the press means you have the right to be a journalist. Congratulations. That doesn't mean that you have rights to classified information on military operations, you friggin' dolt. Nighthawk, you came up here. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Walter. Yeah, I don't think it's even taken much of our effort to sink their ships. They're shooting their own oil tankers, apparently, according to Fox News. They hit one of their oil,
Yeah.
shadow fleet.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was pretty great. Well, I mean, if you listen to the Iranians, the Iranian bot accounts are great. I mean, they're just great. We are doing serious damage to the enemy. We're like, who exactly? I mean, how many of you guys are left? Like, I mean, hit the guy who owns the Twitter account. That's the next bomb that should drop. Figure out where the Twitter account guy is and kill him. I mean, it's very entertaining to watch them claim that, oh my God, what was it yesterday? They said that there was the Americans that have taken 560 casualties already and they've struck an aircraft carrier. Like, huh? Sure. You're not even getting close to those things, dude. Like, you're not even getting even remotely close to our aircraft carriers. But of course, according to them, it's the greatest propaganda in the world for them is claiming that they're taking us down. Their $18 drones are overwhelming our defense systems. Like, okay, sure, yeah. I mean, put some more video game footage out. Maybe that'll make you feel better.
Yeah, it's like they're just hurting themselves more than they're hurting us.
Well, I mean, watching the video game footage stuff is so annoying to me. It's like I keep bringing it up to people. Like, come on, people. Like, just because you've never seen Battlefield 4 gameplay before does not mean that the Iranians are sinking battle carriers groups. Okay, like let's calm down, guys. It's just incredible stuff to me. It really is. Chris came up here, buddy. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, we're just monitoring the situation like everybody else has been for the past couple of days. It's been great.
Yeah, I heard we lost our fleet, our naval fleet in the Strait of Hormuz.
That's right. Yeah. Did you see earlier today, there was a great comment from somebody. They were like, they're sinking the naval aircraft or naval tankers or something like that. They were like, oh my God, the Strand has been sunk. I'm like, what? I looked it up there's a shipping manifest group that you can look up and watch where all these things are. I was like, one, that's not even the name of a ship for one, but for two, they don't look like a Navy tanker doesn't look like a standard oil tanker, guys. Like, what it's who knows? That's what these people are saying, though.
What they meant was when a ship had sunk, they meant the Iranians sunk their own ship.
Yeah, well,
that's what they meant. But here's the thing: is there's a lot of folks out there that are putting out, this is going to be the forever war. There's chaos, said anonymous insider that's quoting somebody they talked to on three-way with an anonymous people on there. I mean, like, give me a freaking break. This is the exact same anonymous sourcing reporting that's always been the case. And this is what we're going to see this because we're in an election year, right? So this is what we're going to see. But the reality is this is not a leadership of the past. This is not Obama in Libya. This is not Iraq. This is not even Afghanistan. Damn sure not Joe Biden. This is the president of the United States. He means business. He gave them an off ramp. They didn't take it. And by the way, P.S. They tried to kill him a couple times in 2024, so he couldn't make it to the finish line. And so he handled business. And you know what? And shout out to Bibi Netanyahu as well. These are wartime leaders. Whether people like that or not is not relevant, right? People, didn't necessarily like some of the things that we had to do early on before we got into World War II. And when you look in the past, history, there's always naysayers when it comes to war because war is not pretty, right? And even military strikes, because we're not really in war. Military strikes right now is what's taking place. And, the reality is that the president of the United States has a clear objective. I trust Raising Cane, Pete Hegseth, and the others that are in leadership. They're being very direct, and people just don't want to hear the truth. The truth is that if he would have allowed another 2 to 3 years, the Iranians knew exactly what they were doing. They knew that if they could kick the ball down the court like they have done, they would have had potentially another Democrat administration. They would have received another couple $2 billion, and they would have told the world they're not going to proliferate nuclear weapons. It's just for nuclear energy, civilian energy, and they would have had a weapon.
Well, I mean, and the funny part about this is that the Trump administration, apparently one of the deals they offered them was unlimited nuclear, fuel rods to be able to have nuclear energy if you really wanted it. That was one of the offers that they had, but they refused that. The problem is that, and this is what I've said the whole time. I'm not talking about all the many reasons that we could say to hate Iran. There's a bunch of them, but I think it's much simpler than that. Trump gave you an offer. You said no. Now you're dead. Congratulations. Hope it worked out for you. And that's the way I think it should be. I don't care. I mean, this listening to people's claim that we need to come up with some reason. We don't need a reason. Remind people that we're in charge for a reason, guys. That's the way I look at it. We are the world's superpower. Fuck with us at your peril. That's what's learned now.
Walter, and here's my thing. I don't even care about the nuclear threat. Like, I don't care about the talking points. Here's what I know, and this is what I care about. It is not in dispute that the Iranian regime was working with the cartels in China to infiltrate our southern border. It is not in dispute that we have close to 6,500 military-aged IRGC members and Hezbollah members in the United States right now that are sleeper cells. In what states are those? Oh, wait a second. Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, New York City. Wait, those states sound familiar. Oh, wait a second. We had our ice raids in these areas. Go figure. And so here's the truth. The truth is this: we were going to have attacks on our soil no matter what. In my personal opinion, we're gonna see if those come to fruition now. But strategically, they took out Maduro, who was working with the IRGC and working with Hezbollah and the Iranian regime. They snatched him. It's no coincidence that they got additional information all of a sudden, that they could have some precision with this strike. They went through these cities, no matter what Neville Singham's paid rioters want to say. We were bagging some of those dudes as well. And America's a lot safer because of it. We declared fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. And the bottom line is they were involved in it. So he gave them a chance. They didn't take the chance. They're gone. C'est la vie, free to Iranians, and I think the world's a better place because of it.
Well, and does anybody really, is there actually any real people that believe that Khomeini was someone that we need to mourn at all? This guy's been a dictator, a ruthless dictator for many years. I mean, I just think it's a joke to me. It's a joke to me that I need to sit here and listen and trying to come up with a reason that we must. Oh my God, this guy, we should have left him. What was your solution, really? What was your solution? To just leave him in power? Try and get another JPCOA or some bullshit? No, that's not happening. All right, we don't need to make deals with these people. Kill them all. Kill them all. And it's worked. I mean, they're all dead now. So I guess we'll get to figure out who wants to come up and take the next position. You know, who's going to draw straws to be the next leader of Iran? Here's the next question. So,
Yeah, well, it's going to be Khomeini's third cousin, once removed at this point, because all his other lineage has been blown to dust.
yeah, well, even if that's possible, I mean, who knows how many? No one has any idea who's in charge of Iran right now. There is no leadership in charge right now. They're all dead. So, you know, I do enjoy listening to people say, well, what happens next? Like, well, I don't know. I mean, turns out, I mean, if you just keep killing people, eventually someone will surrender. I mean, you know, unless they want to die too. I mean, I don't think, you know, I loved it. There was yesterday, they said the Iranians want to talk. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure they do. Maybe they should have talked 2 weeks ago. Now, I mean, figure whoever it is that said they want to talk, they're probably dead too now. I mean, it's just, you know, we're not playing around anymore. We got a completely different administration, a completely different foreign policy approach. And there is no rules of engagement stopping what we're doing now. That's the other interesting thing here. There is no rules of engagement that are preventing us from doing that stuff. Nope. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're fighting to win, and we're killing them all, and it's working. So, you know, we'll see.
Did you see Fetterman's post?
No,
Walter?
I haven't seen Fetterman's post yet. I did see that he was fully in support of this. You know, I saw that pretty quickly. So, you know, Fetterman is one of the few people that actually gets it. So, you know, he has zero problems with this, as far as I can tell. Did he post again something today that's worth reading?
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull it up real quick. He's posted a couple of things, but basically the summary, and I was trying to find the actual post to give a direct quote here, but in essence, he just said, you know, you can't. Okay, here it is. He said, every member in the United States Senate agrees we cannot allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. I'm baffled why so many are unwilling to support the only action to achieve that. Empty sloganeering versus commitment to global security. Which is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty accurate. I mean, the reality is that listening to all the people scream about what was your solution to this? Okay, I mean, we have major geopolitical rivals, whether we like it or not. Okay, we still exist in the world. We're still the world hegemon. We're still the world's empire. I mean, I personally think that this is the correct approach in every aspect of it. We are the world's most powerful nation. Okay, act like it. That's what's happened so far this year. I mean, in the past year or so, there ain't nobody that has any doubt that President Trump is willing to go through with things anymore, is there? You know, Maduro got ripped from his damn house. You know, Khomeini got his entire house, entire family, and everybody that has even known him once is dead. I don't think anybody doubts President Trump's resolve anymore. So my guess is that a lot of these other places that we have issues with may be, you know, they're probably already at the table with Marco Rubio today. You know, oh, crap. You know, as soon as this started happening, I posted a GIF of the guy with the eyes, like looking back, and that was the Cuban government when Trump was finished in Iran. I mean, that's reality at this point. These people are no, and I actually saw a post today from, I think it was from the State Department, saying that it was shortly after the Maduro raid that the Cuban government reached out and started working with President Trump's administration. So. My guess is that these people are all very well aware of what's going on now, and you know, they should be. Good.
Hey, Walter, do you mind if I just cut in for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I was just the reason I was typing something is I was just putting out a post trying to debunk this whole, you know, where's the nuclear weapon thing. So I wanted to say that, you know, I have, coming from somebody with an engineering background, I kind of know a little bit about, you know, I don't need to toot my own horn about physics, but the way that enrichment in uranium, the way that, you know, nuclear weapons work is that you need to have at least 90% pure enrichment in order to get a nuclear weapon. Civilian power reactors only need about 3 to 5% uranium. Now, what happened in last year was that the IAEA, which is like the UN board for watching out for countries that are producing uranium, found out that they had 60% enriched uranium at their facilities. There is no other reason to have that percentage of uranium enrichment besides making a nuclear weapon.
Well,
So that's why we took
listen. The idea that they were trying to make a nuclear weapon, to me, I don't even care. Like, it doesn't even matter to me if they were trying to make one or not. I mean, whatever they were trying to do, they ain't doing it no more. There ain't no one left. I mean,
Well,
who
no, I mean,
can?
I just want to get more to this point because the reason I'm seeing this is because I'm seeing Matt Walsh is like talking about again. It's like, oh, I thought we already destroyed all their nuclear reactors. Well, here's the part that that I don't think a lot of people know because I was saying the IAEA, which as I said before is the watchdog that monitors countries trying to build nuclear weapons programs. It turns out that after we struck their facilities in June of last year, the Iranian regime kicked the IAEA out of the country. Now, for me, as somebody, I think, now for me, I think that the only reason that they would do that is because they suspect that the IAEA tipped off us that they were built, that they had this weapons there, and that's what allowed us to strike them out. But of course, we're the Americans, so we didn't exactly need them to figure out what their enrichment protocols were. But they think that that's what that
Well,
they were the
here's
ones who tipped them
here's a
off.
question for you. First off, Iran was never part of the Axis, and if it wants to have a nuclear weapon, it can have it. It's
No,
like
it can't.
Israel has. Well, that's why I got you blocked. But Israel's got like 200 illegal nuclear weapons, which
So you come up here and you immediately say you got me blocked, and then what are you doing? Like, do you want to be part of the show, or do you want me to just laugh at you and throw you out of here? So what are you doing here? Just a curious question here because I don't give a damn what your comment is about Israel because I don't care. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon if they want one because we said so. Get over it. Now, continue if you'd like to speak.
what kind of argument is that? Is that really an intellectual
No, it's
argument?
not an intellectual argument. It is we are the United States and we said you can't have it. Get over it. That's what the argument is.
You got a problem with that?
Bro, like Israel fucking did 9/11.
This is not Israel, buddy. We're talking about Iran.
Yeah, we're talking about Iran
Buddy, you're
here.
retarded.
Yeah, we're talking about Iran here. So
the
hold on.
thing is, Iran does not want a nuclear weapon.
Oh my God. All right. So I'm going to give you one more chance here. Answer the question. You didn't answer it when I said it. Okay. They can't have a nuclear weapon because we said so. Why?
But they don't want a
Why?
nuclear weapon.
Yes, they
That's
do
the
want a
thing.
They
nuclear
do
weapon.
want a nuclear weapon. I just laid out that they had 60% uranium enrichment and that there's no other reason that you have that much enrichment unless you're trying to build nuclear weapons.
I don't think that's true though. I mean, I'm not a
It is
nuclear.
Yeah,
true.
that's you don't think it's true
No, but
because
hear me
you
out.
don't have
So-
any ideas. So you're
No, I'll
wrong.
tell you something. The Ayatollah even said himself, like, having nuclear weapons, it causes all kinds of destruction. He said this before, so it's like,
Yeah,
unless
dude,
you're
right.
so let me get this straight. So you believe, for some strange reason, that the Iranian dictator, supreme leader, now a value meal at Taco Bell, is somehow not lying.
So you believe that Iran was trying to create a nuclear weapon for the last 40 years and just didn't do it?
No, I said that
They-
the Iranians have 60% enrichment. That is true. That is accurate, which means they were only doing that for one reason. And to be honest with you, I don't really care. Okay? We said they can't have it. They tried to make it. Now they're dead. So there's not really an argument here anymore. There's not really anything to talk about on it because those people that you're worried about are all dead now. So who cares? I mean, the deal is the United States was trying to make a deal with these guys. They didn't, and now they're all dead. So what's
Well,
the
that's
what's
it.
the next
So
part
that's
of it?
why the United States is going to come last to China. This is why China is going to be the new world leader because they're not
Ah.
scum like America. And America's
Ah.
a settler colonial project full of mutts like you. And
Oh.
you fuck. And you
Ah.
fuck.
Hey, hold on a
Ah.
second. We're on a real show here, buddy, and you're
Yeah, well-
Canadian. So, and we're about to expand our border to the folks out of Canada that
so
don't want
I-
to even be with you.
So
Okay.
I have to talk to. I got to respond briefly because he's sitting here calling me a mutt and saying all sort of stuff. You come up on my show, you insult me, and then insult my country, and then claim China is going to be the next world order. I don't give a damn if you don't like the United States and if you want to be a dick, but you want to come up on my show and try and insult me and then say a whole bunch of nonsense and call me a mutt. Who the fuck are you? You obnoxious person just gonna come up in here and try to act like you have got something to say and as if you're important. Dude, you can go enjoy yourself somewhere else, but as far as I'm concerned, Canada is a useless communist country that was taken over by Islamists already. And there's nothing up there except for your stupid maple syrup that is disgusting. Okay, anyway, we can continue
Well,
on here.
I do feel like he was emotionally wrecked from that hockey game. That probably built up some tension there. But just to further the point, there's a reason why communist Canadian leaders are requesting foreign fighters like Chinese fighters to come help into their units is because they don't have any type of unit. They don't have any power at all. All they have is a bunch of little barking communists that live on the north side of our border, and they're just trying to cause problems. They've buddied up with the cartels. They've buddied up with China, and that's just the reality. And
Well,
truth
I
is
mean,
going to be coming at them fast.
I do enjoy listening to the Canadian minister that was saying, "Well, we weren't informed of the attack on Iran." Like, why would we inform you of anything? You know, you're meaningless. You know, what is the Canadians? What are they going to do to help anybody? They don't have anything. You know, the Canadians exist because we let them exist, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't really care about the Canadian government. I don't care about the Canadians at all. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Alberta is the only reason you're even remotely interesting, and they want to secede. So, you know, have fun with that. You know, I don't think I care much about the Canadians. So, coming up and explaining that I'm a mutt and that you know that China is going to be the next great power, like, sure, buddy. That's China's. You know, they've done so much to help the Iranians. I'm sure they'd help you too. Good luck. All right. Anyway, let's move on from him. That was entertaining.
Walter, can I just finish the point I was making before he cut me off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying that after we struck their facilities in June of last year, the Iranians kicked the IAEA out of the country. So the question you have to ask is, what legitimate reason could they have had for kicking out the group responsible for monitoring nuclear programs of other countries?
Yeah, well, there's a number of reasons that they would kick them out, but most of the because you're probably right. They probably think that Fordo that they gave the secrets on Fordo or something, which I found very funny because if you guys didn't watch Raising Cane's press conference that he gave the day after they hit Fordo, and he was explaining that, you know, we watched them add you know, new cement caps to the top of Fordo, and not to give any real details here, but we knew the thickness of those caps as they were pouring them. You know, just an idea here, people. I mean, satellite technology for the United States is so advanced at this point that, you know, that we can watch, you know, people smoke cigarettes on the side of the road live with our satellites at this point. I mean, you know, everyone forgets that somehow, you know, we have the most powerful satellite technology. You know, we have got the most powerful military. And what exactly? How many? What about Canada? Do they have anything interesting other than losing hockey games? You know, I don't know. I don't think they have anything interesting.
Well, Walter, one other thing that
Canada would exist.
Hold on a minute here, buddy. What now?
One other thing to point out in the press conference this morning was where they pointed out that it was actually Space Force that was first utilized in this most recent strike on Iran, which tells you the kind of camera system and ability we have in terms of the United States, and what Elon Musk and others have built for our country, even just in the last well, since the last Trump administration.
Yeah, well,
and Elon's a foreigner.
Okay, so what's up, Rumpelstiltskin? You came up here, you got something to say. What's up?
Listen to me, Chris. Elon Musk, he's from South Africa,
And
he admitted that him and his brother came in here under nefarious means. They snuck in here, and he's happy about it. All right.
So again, who the hell cares?
Immigration.
Oh my God! Do you have a real point, or you got something to say? I mean, or are you just going to kind of stumble
what are you
over?
Angry about?
Dude, you're on my show. You got something to say? Say it. Otherwise, just get the hell out of the way. We got other people that want to talk.
What I'm saying is, we have a president that's potentially a pedophile.
Oh my God! You know, some people, when you come up here, you know, I don't know if it's just because we're in the midst of this, you know, Iranian conflict, that the IQ has dropped by about 80 points, and that we're now dealing with people that are, you know, they're equivalent to, you know, small toads. But my God, if you're going to come up here and have a point, at least be intelligent enough to, like, articulate the point. If you're an idiot, then you just sound like an idiot. I mean, my goodness, people. I do enjoy all of these people out here. Oh my God, Trump's a pedophile. He's the power of Israel is the only reason we did all this. Oh, shut up. You know, the Khamenei is dead. The IRGC is collapsing. Their entire infrastructure is being wiped out. No one cares about your stupid little point about Elon Musk, dude. All right. Got a new person up here on the stage. What's up, Justin Stewart?
Hey, I've been listening to you guys all night, and I appreciate the space. I'm in New York City. I'm like Gen Z conservative and stuff, but I just want to ask a question. In pertains hypothetically, if Iran was to obtain a nuclear weapon, wouldn't the Saudis seek nuclear proliferation as well?
I'm sure they would. I mean, the deal is when you one nation getting another nation getting nuclear power in the area is not good anyway. But at the end of the day, again, everyone talks about this as if this is something that's really important. The reality is, I don't think I care about any of this. I mean, I don't care. To me, we were trying to make a deal with the Iranians. They didn't make a deal, and then Trump's like, "All right, kill that guy." So they killed him, and I think that's the way it really went down. I don't need any more context outside of that, to be honest with you.
And what is your reaction to Nick Fuentes and these people advocating for Democrat leadership when they wouldn't profit off of it in terms of, the crackdown under conservatives that came under the Biden administration? So why are they advocating for things that would he complains about deportations. They wouldn't be deporting people if Kamala was in power. So I don't know what the whole deal is.
Listen, the problem I have with the Groypers generally is that the Groypers generally, they don't really have a position on a lot of things. They kind of just blow with the wind based on whatever they think that day. It's not really a principled position in any way. My position is very simple, that the United States is the most powerful country in the world, and I wanted to keep it that way. That's pretty much it. And if we have to blow people out of the water, so long as we don't spend the next 20 years on the ground in Iran trying to build a nation of some kind, I don't particularly care what happens to the Iranian government afterwards. I don't particularly care as long as we don't pump them full of NGOs and then send their refugees all over the world. I don't really care what happens, okay? I mean, this is stuff that none of that has to happen, okay? Apparently, the Iranian people have been trying to overthrow this government for a long time, but they've been a very powerful government because they built up a strong military. Well, now that military's dead. So, I think that the Iranian people are going to be doing just fine at some point here in the near future, or at least better than they were before. I mean, I essentially laid out three options of what I think could happen here. There's option one, which is the worst possible option. Okay, and there's not particular order in this, but if you want the worst possible scenario here, okay, worst possible scenario would be that the Iranians manage somehow to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They manage to strike a bunch of their neighbors around it and take out their oil refineries. Like if they manage to actually damage the large facility in Saudi Arabia, which is about 8 to 10% of the entire world's oil supply. Damage it to the point that it actually makes it non-functional for a significant period of time. If oil went up to $90 to $100 or $120 a barrel or something like that, that would be bad, because that would give the Russians a large boon to their economy, which is already struggling right now as they're trying to fight Ukraine. But if you give them a ton of money, that might change that scenario. And then if you manage to get that, they up their war effort. Then we're fighting in Iran, fighting in Russia, and then China has an open door to try and hit Taiwan, which would be major global conflict pretty much everywhere, and everything would be terrible. That's the worst case scenario, okay? And that would be reliant on the fact that the Iranians have any ability to project power to actually stop oil transfer or moving oil anywhere in the world, which it does not appear that is the case based on current oil prices. Current oil prices are showing that nobody thinks this is going to be that long. Current oil prices aren't even over $80 a barrel. So, at this point, I'm not too concerned about that. We'll see. I mean, it's always possible something could change. Then option two, which is the if Trump's gamble plays off here, he completely wipes out the Iranian regime as it stands currently. The Iranian regime is then replaced with a group of Iranian people, which there's already a kind of a structure that exists back behind all this. There's the Raza Pahlavi guy, which is the former Shah's son, I think. I mean, I don't know exact relations. I know a little bit about this from when I talked to a group of Iranian people. If he takes over and makes it a more secular government, and then we've got a more Western-friendly government in Iran, then we can start doing trade with Iran. It cuts off China's discounted barrel supply significantly, because that's one of their largest suppliers of discounted barrels. And if those who don't know what that means, a discounted barrel is essentially they're buying sanctioned barrels at below market value from the sanctioned countries. So Iran is one of the largest countries that does that. So if you cut that supply off, it increases the supply to China not necessarily cuts it off. It's not like China runs out of oil, guys. That's not how that works. China's got massive oil reserves. But what it would do is in the long term, it would increase the amount of money that China has to spend on about 20% of their oil supply, which is not insignificant. It's a reasonable economic nudge. So that is the long-term play. So if we actually manage to pull that off, that would be great. And then we also wouldn't have to deal with, terrorists constantly firing missiles all over the place in the Middle East, which would be, that'd be fantastic. If the only people that were left doing that were like the idiots that are the Houthis, I think we'd be in much better shape.
So, just one last question. It's with every regime, like the Soviets, there was always hardliners. Saddam, the royal guards are always the hardliners. So, how do the Iranian people overcome, like the IRGC? It's 100,000 manpower strong with weapons. They're trained. I would love to see them overcome it, but how? How did they
I
get
think
arms? How?
the current solution appears right now, from all available information, is to kill them all. That apparently is what we're going with. We're going to kill the IRGC and then see what happens afterwards. And it seems to be working pretty well so far. So we'll see what the next stage of that is.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, let's see here. Jerry, you came up here and I've never heard from you before. So what's up? And then I'm going to get over here to Jared.
Hi, Walter. How are you?
I'm doing just
I
fine.
just wanted to. I listen to your spaces all the time. I was in a lot of spaces today, and there are a lot of them out there that are causing trouble, like this Rumpelstiltskin and the Canadian guy. Ever since the whole Iran stuff has been going on, they're coming out in full force. I guess because Trump is so well honored across the world, they have to try and put him down now. So I just wanted to let you know that there's a lot of them out. They've been out all day today in spaces.
Yeah, I'm aware. I mean, listen, I'm
Okay.
aware that there's a lot of these people out here, and that's why I've been making fun of them a lot. I mean, that's why I put out yesterday that they're the new Iranian Navy theme song was released, and it's "Under the Sea," from like the Disney Under the Sea.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the way you respond to these people. It's like, you just got to laugh at them because, one, they don't know anything. All right, they don't know anything more than you do. Nobody knows anything more than you do. No one knows anything at all because they're not going to, and you don't need to. And people may not like that, but that's just reality. I mean, there's nothing that you're going to find out that I know more than you do. No, you don't. Okay. No one has any clue what the plan is. No one has any idea what Trump's intentions are. No one knows, and Trump's not saying anything. So you're just going to have to ride the ride like the rest of us and hope it works out, because obviously, if you are an American, you want to hope that this works out in our favor. At least I would hope you do. If not, maybe you're a Canadian communist like that other faggot. But I mean, I don't really care about him. So, I mean, that's just reality. So we got to hope that we actually do well here.
And well,
Yes.
and also, Jerry, as somebody who's been co-hosting some of the largest spaces on this platform since 2020, before all these bot algorithms and all those things started boosting some of these other spaces that you're seeing out there, these disinformation spaces. The truth is this: none of these folks have a lot of credibility, right? What happens is they get amplified by bots or whatever from foreign interest and even domestic interests, and people think, oh my gosh, there's this overwhelming outrage against the president of the United States. When the truth of the matter is, there's polling right now that still shows president at 43% approval, right?
Yeah.
So, the polling that they're citing is the same polling that said Kamala Harris was up 4 points when Kamala Harris's own internal polling was saying she was down 4 points, 5 points, and she had no shot at even winning.
Exactly.
So you got to keep things in perspective. In the end, what's going to matter come November is whether folks are going to pull the ballot in some of these swing areas for a Republican or Democrat. Donald Trump's going to be on the campaign trail to make his case. I would advise Republicans in Congress to get on board and make that case, along with and push forward the Trump agenda. He's already been hugely successful in 2025, despite some of the Republicans in the Senate. And I think that there's a possibility. It would go against history, but a possibility that the House stays Republican and the Senate would certainly stay Republican in that scenario. And then you can go in with a Republican-controlled Congress, and obviously the presidency for the final 2 years, and implement some massive real change for making America great again, right, and making America healthy again. These things that Republican senators promised their constituents they were going to fast track and do. That's their words, right? So otherwise, what we're going to see is a split Congress, and the Democrats who provide zero solutions to anything right now, except for we're going to impeach Trump and try to prosecute Trump. That's literally their only solution, right? I mean, I say this, by the way, because we need two parties to have intellectual debates and provide some solutions for Americans. But the truth is, the Democrat Party right now, they've become so liberal that people don't trust them, and they become so partisan that they aren't willing to even stand for a mom whose daughter was slaughtered by a 40-time felon, and for a pilot that helped take down Maduro and and got a Medal of Honor. They can't even stand for that, So that's who we're dealing with right now, and so we got to keep things in perspective.
Well, I think the biggest thing is actually the approval rating. Every week you hear that, oh my God, it's cratering. It's been the same since like October. Like, I mean, it's literally been the same forever. I mean, I tell everybody, just go look at Real Clear Politics or realclearpolling.com and just go look at the chart on there, okay? It's a running average of all of the polls combined. It's a very simple thing. Just go look at it. I mean, just stop wasting your time listening to people try and convince you that the sky is falling. Trump's approval rating is the exact same as it was 3 months ago. It's not changed at all. All right, Jared, you got your hand up. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, speaking of polling, someone just sent me this. I think in the listener section, they're listening to you guys here, that CNN had a poll today uh, showing that 6 in 10 Americans disapprove of the decision to strike Iran. So that was the first polling, I think, that was released shortly after the strike over the weekend. I think the chips are going to fall where they fall, and other than that, I don't really have any comment on that. I'm more of looking to see what the political outcome it's going to be. I know Trump was asked today, or it was either today or yesterday, when he was leaving Mar-a-Lago, and he said, people have been saying they think this conflict is going to last a week, 2 weeks. Trump said 4 weeks. So I honestly think this might go over the 60-day mark. And is it 60 days or 90 days that Congress has to intervene? I'm not sure.
It's
Is it
90.
or
It's
60?
it's 90
90.
days, but to be honest with you, I don't think at all that it's going to do that. I mean, there's no information at all. And Trump, you mentioned that Trump said how, like, oh, it could last a week, it could last 4 weeks. No one knows. Okay, no one has any idea. That's kind of the point. I mean, the deal is, you don't know. I don't know. He doesn't know. I mean, maybe he does, but no, he's not saying. No one has any idea, and everybody who's saying that this is going to be some endless conflict has no friggin' clue. I mean, there's zero data because they're not giving it to you. So, I mean,
Sure.
until we find out, we got no idea how it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to punch down on Americans who think that this could be an endless war, because history has showed us that that's also a very likelihood that could happen. I'm also not going to, again, we don't know the plan. And Walter, you always make a good point. Trump is going to be Trump. He's not going to tell CNN or Fox News what his plan is. So people that are asking, what's the plan? What's the plan? You're not going to get the plan, right?
Yep.
There's so many things that's obviously, working, that's changing, very moving fast, and it would be willful ignorance to actually put your plan on primetime television. So I don't think that's so tomorrow with the Senate Texas, the competitive Texas primary, I've been looking in that. So I wrote down, so the latest polls have shown, so Ken Paxton's in the lead. Walter, no one's knows what's going to happen with the Democrat side. I think it's more problematic to make a prediction for that, because like there's been polls showing Jasmine Crockett leading by 5 points. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
polling
that's
on that
true.
the polling has been terrible. I mean, like, I
don't
have
know
no
if it's
idea.
been-
I would just say that Tallarico, I don't know how you say his name. I have no idea, actually.
It's Tallarico.
Okay, so I said it right. So Tallarico, I don't know if he's actually going to do well or not. I saw something today that there was a final poll out for him that he was up 52-48. So I don't know. I mean, I have no clue. In anybody that says they know what's going on there, I mean, I don't know. I think that Jasmine Crockett would be a disaster for the Democrats. I will say that, and I've mentioned that before. I don't think she has any ability to win in Texas. Not a chance in hell. She would get blown out in Texas. So if they're smart, I think that Tallarico should win. But we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, I
the deal
have
is
the
that
polls here,
primaries.
Walter. Yeah, I have the polls here. So let me just break it down here. So for the Republican side, Emerson College has Paxton at 40%, Cornyn at 36%, and then obviously you have Congressman Wesley Hunt still in the race, taking 17%. Still within the margin, right? He's still up by 4 points. YouGov has Paxton at 36%, Cornyn at 32%, Hunt at 17%. Um, and then the Democrat side, Emerson College, 52%, Tallarico, Crockett, 47%. So what? That's 5 points. Tallarico leading by, and then YouGov has Tallarico at 53%, Crockett at 40%. So
What?
the
That's
polls have been, yeah, the polls have been everywhere in the Democrat side, and I think it's just a lot of the campaigns for like Jasmine Crockett, they're not talking to reporters. I know in the last recent few days, CNN reporter was they said Jasmine Crockett had a CNN reporter arrested.
what?
Yeah, yeah, I read a report
Oh my
on that as
God! Listen to
well.
me. Listen to me. I'm telling you right now, the Democrats are insane if they run Crockett in Texas. They are nuts. That is the dumbest thing they could ever do. Like I can't imagine.
I don't think it's the dumbest thing. I told you that earlier.
I
I
think
don't
it's pretty
think it would be.
stupid.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Running Beto O'Rourke for the 10th time could be dumber,
Beto.
but
Beto is a great man, dude. Beto's up
but
there.
Jared,
Beto, the one man who can find any stool in the nearest area to stand on top of before he speaks to you.
But Jared,
yeah,
what those polling tells me is, the ones that showed Crockett leading were back in early February. These are the polling that matters,
it was
right?
like January.
Heading
It
in,
wasn't. It
yeah,
was like January.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, going into the stretch, that tells me obviously people started paying attention. Tallarico's got his stuff out there. They're looking at the frequent voters are looking, and they don't like what they see with Crockett. But it's gonna in the end, elections are all about turnout, right? So.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean,
I
the deal is,
agree.
I think that the problem is that I think, and like you said about turnout, I think the problem there is really that, Crockett may have an ability to get the base of the Democrat progressive wing to show up to vote. That's the one thing I will say. But I want to move on from that real quick because I got a couple people up in here on stage I want to talk to. Back onto our Iran topic. What is up, Battleborn? You came up here. What's up, man?
Good evening and thank you. I just want to address something as a caveat. The people that live in the nation that's known as Iran right now, the Persians want to be known as Persians because it's actually was Persia before it was ever Iran, and the Muslims made it Iran, and it's they want to be known by that. So I think they should have the say so over what happens in their lives and in their nation, just like we should have the say so about what goes on in our nation. And I think that Trump was right to do what he did, and because we gave them so many chances and they started enriching the uranium again. They had enough uranium to be able to make an atomic bomb. They were trying to get it to nuclear, but at that point where they had it, 60 some odd percent is nuclear. I mean, is atomic. We used atomic bombs in uh, Hiroshima was an atomic bomb, and Nagasaki was a hydrogen bomb. So no matter what, they could have put it on a rocket and sent it with the just the payload that they had, and we can't have that. I mean,
Well, I mean, again, going back onto this point, yeah, I mean, I agree that they shouldn't have had a nuclear weapon, but I personally don't even use this talking point about talking about nuclear weapons on it because I don't think it matters in my eyes. They should have made a deal with the United States to stop anything that we told them to do, and they didn't, and now they get to learn the consequences of screwing around. Everyone wants to talk about, they want to go on to the many reasons. Oh my goodness, there needs to be 1,000 reasons. My reasoning is very simple. We said don't, you did it, and now you're dead. And that's that's more than enough for me. I don't care. I mean, but I'm also a complete American chauvinist to the point that I believe that we are the American empire. We should just refer to ourselves as the American empire, and everybody who doesn't like it can, they can get Maduro'd or Kamini'd.
Walter, just to challenge your mind just a second, because, and I know you're not for forever wars, you're not that type of guy, but it just sounds like it sounds like the Senator Lindsey Graham type of perspective. If you don't concede to the U.S. demands, then we're going to strike and kill you and kill your whole family. I mean, is that what you're saying? I hope that's not. But
Well, it
what do
depends.
you say to that?
Walter, can I take this one?
Well, I would
Yeah.
say I'll respond just briefly because he's addressing me, but then you can take it, Matt. Yeah. I'm not necessarily the same as Lindsey Graham where I say bomb everybody, but I'm saying if you are a country that has consistently attacked us and been aggressive towards us and done stupid stuff to us and attacked our troops and attacked our bases and done all this stuff for years, and then you meet a president who's like, oh, you know what? Let's make a real deal and actually have peace between the two countries, and you spit in his hand and slap him in the face and say, no, we're not going to do that, and then we're going to start shooting missiles all over the place again. I don't care if you die. Sorry. You got blown up. Now you are a new value meal at Taco Bell. The supreme leader. You can get it today. All right, Matt, go ahead.
Jared, two questions. First, how many U.S. troops should be killed by a nation before we decide to go to war with them? Second, how many attacks are they allowed to launch on U.S. soil or attempt to launch on U.S. soil before we go to war with them?
None. And
Okay,
Pete.
so why
So
invoke Lindsey Graham? Because they've killed thousands of U.S. troops and have launched multiple attacks on U.S. soil. Most recent one was noted in July of 2025 by the Department of Homeland Security.
yeah. So if we're going to go with, if we're going to go to war with every Middle East country who somehow just launch attacks on our neighbors, then I think we're going to have
No,
wars
no, no, no.
7 days.
No, Jared. Specifically on U.S. soil, not our neighbors. U.S. soil.
U.S. soil for.
The IRGC launching lethal attacks.
Yeah, I just think the conservative foreign policy thinking. I'm not saying that's what Walter's thinking is, but I do think it's a good question. If we're just going to going
That,
back to even Maduro, a lot of
okay, but
people were saying
that's
that
not
we
what
should have.
happened. And we could talk about Maduro, and now you're spinning off topic and you're refusing to stay on point. The point being is that you just said 0 attacks launched on U.S. soil. Actually gave you prime examples of it that's actually documented, and then I explained to you that they've killed thousands of U.S. troops, and you just want to completely ignore that fact and go
No,
back into
no,
like leftist
no. I
talking
think
points
that's
and
a.
Maduro and everything else, and try
So,
to shit on Lindsey Graham and
so
just
so
ignore what I
so
just told
Matt,
you.
I think you and Walter have a huge big gap of what you guys think here, right? Because Walter wasn't saying that. He didn't mention anything about US attacks. So now that you are, I think that's a fair point, right? If you
Wait a minute here.
that message, right, talking about happening on US soil, that's fair, right? You can put that to a question to Senator Lindsey Graham, and I'm sure he will have a adequate response. But if I'm reading Walter right, just by
No, you're not
we
reading
want
it
some.
right. You're not reading it
Okay,
right, Jared. And because
so yeah,
Jared,
yeah.
because you didn't listen. Okay, I said specifically, if there is a
No,
nation.
I did listen. You didn't make it clear, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll make it clear again and say the same thing that I just said. So why don't you just wait for a second here? If you're a nation that has consistently caused problems for us, attacked our troops all across the world, multiple different countries for 50 years, and a president arrives that says, I want to make an actual deal for peace with you. That's what I want to do. I want a real deal of peace. You only have to do is agree to these terms, and then we'll go forward with it. And you deny that, slap them in the face, and then throw the people out of the country that are trying to do that and start launching missiles at people. I don't care if they kill you then. Sorry. Doesn't matter to me. That's the problem here. Okay. It's not like it's not like we're arguing with, Austria, and Austria doesn't want to just sign some sort of trade agreement and we bomb them. Okay. That's not what's happening here. The IRGC is a bit different. I don't know who used that, but please don't. Okay. But if you want to respond to that briefly, Jared, then I've got two new hands on the stage.
Yeah, so it looks like JD Vance was just on Hannity the last hour, and I think he was asked a question by Sean whether or not they're calling for, okay, let's kill the Iran supreme leader, let's kill his deputies. Okay, fair game, but whose call is it to call for regime change? Is that, people in Michigan and California's job to do, or is that actually for the Iranians to make
Well,
their
our
decision?
military leaders have been very clear that the Iranian
Well,
people are
well, the
going to be
administration,
I said
Chris,
our
let's back
administration.
up for a
Jared,
second.
hold on a second. You're not listening. Let me just say, based on the press conference that was this morning, you seem to be citing Sean Hannity's show versus the press conference of the military leaders that are running the operations, who have been
I'm
very
citing the
clear
vice
since day one.
president of the United.
Who's been very clear since day one that it is going to be the task of the Iranian people to take their destiny into their own hands. We are targeting specific military installations. The Israelis are tasked with going after the high profile interests. The Saudis are now involved and helping us in that effort, and other nations are about to get involved. And the best is yet to come for the Ayatollah's, third cousin or whoever's left alive, because that's going to be coming raining down today, probably right now, actually, and in the next 24 to 48 hours. And then we're going to have probably a separate conversation, right? And so, but it is in their destiny. And I got a real strong support for my beautiful Iranian people, the Persian people that, want that destiny. They just haven't been armed, right? So now we have a president that's actually walking the walk and talking the talk, and they're going to have their freedom. And whether Democrats like that or not is really irrelevant. Okay, at this point, it's irrelevant. If Democrats want to back Maduro and complain about Maduro, that's not relevant either, because the Venezuelan people are getting their freedom. And next up will be the beautiful island of Cuba, because they're going to get their freedom.
Well, I did see that it looks like the Cuban government is already working with the administration. But to Jared's point, I mean, every single conversation from every single person so far has been very clear that the Iranian people, it's going to be ultimately up to them. Okay, I need to move on to some more people here. The macro schizo, you came up here, you put your hand up. What's up?
How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I came in because of the title of your space, the political theatre. And what I'm going to say, it might trigger a few people, but bear with me, because I look into the historic sort of evolution of television and cinema. And we've been programmed over the last 70 years to become political analysts, financial analysts, detectives, medical scientists, by all of these programs that have been put into our psyche. And I'm of a certain age. I've seen the evolution of television and theatre. When we first got the cinema, epics.
I don't mean to cut you off, buddy, but what the hell are you talking about?
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Listen. So first of all, we get programmed with all the history of war, etc., all through the 50s, and the 60s. Then probably the height of television was the soap opera. So what you're actually watching on this stage is a soap opera. You're not watching theatre. You're watching a soap opera. And all nations, this is moving towards this new world order. Right?
Listen. I have no idea what you're going at on this. The name of this show is The Political Theater for a reason. It's because the way that DC operates is most of the actions that politicians take are political theater in nature. They're not actual theater. It's political theater. Most of it's just performative. That's the reason the name of the show is The Political Theater. But the idea that we need to go back to the New World Order and programming people and discussing all that, we are going so far into the abyss of I have no idea what that we're just not going to go there right now. We're going to go over to, let's see here. There's two other hands on here on the stage real quick, and then I need to go to Matt. So go ahead, Hitler, and then we're going to go back to Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me up. What's up, Jordan? What's up, Walter? Yeah, just to be quick, I mean, if people don't realize what's going on at this point, people are just retarded. This is all for the Greater Israel Project. Marco Rubio even came out today and made a statement.
Listen, dude.
Don't cut me off.
Yeah, I can cut you off, dude. It's my show. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Okay.
Don't
cut me off.
Yeah,
Marco
no, I
Rubio
can. Hey, buddy. Hey, listen to me, buddy. I can cut you off because it is indeed my show. So you have the ability to either shut up when I talk to you or you can leave. I don't really care. The problem I have with this is, again, claiming everything has to do with Israel. There are so many people out here. There's a number of people that they cannot.
Marco Rubio even said it too.
Dude, shut up. Okay, so back to what I was saying just a second ago. All you people that constantly talk about the New Jersey of the Middle East, and that is the only thing that you can possibly fathom it was the reason for this stuff. You really think, honestly, in the heart of your hearts, that there is no reason that the United States would want to do anything to do with Iran? There's no strategic reasons. There's no China reasons. There's no any reasons. It's just because of Israel. Is that really your position? Like, honestly.
That's not what I'm saying. Marco
Okay.
Rubio even came out and said today, he said we weren't even going to attack Iran. We were forced to because Israel told us that they were going to attack.
That is
just not true.
And a false statement. Hitler.
Yeah, that is just not true.
Accurate.
I can post
that you are misstating what he said and you're twisting it.
Marco
that
Rubio
is not what he said.
Today.
That's not what he said, dude.
You're changing the narrative to fit yours.
Yeah, that's not what he said. Just okay. So listen, buddy. Hey, hold on. Just chill for a second here, dude, because you actually are just misquoting it. Okay, that's not what they said. They said that the attack was planned for next week. Okay, and it got moved up. Okay, that's what they said. So I know what you're referring to. I know exactly the quote you're referring to. We didn't attack because of Israel. Okay, that's not what happened. All right, the attack got moved up because intelligence changed that they were about to perform an attack. Okay, that's what changed. That's what Marco Rubio said earlier today. He said that they were already, that's why they had missiles responding within the hour, because they were already pre-positioned to do so. That's what Marco Rubio said earlier today. So that's just not accurate, buddy. Matt, go ahead.
Do you want me to read the quote from him? Or?
No, I don't need to read the quote because I watched him say it. I watched it. Oh my God.
Because you're negating an entire 10-minute speech.
Yes.
And you're taking a specific subset
read it,
of it.
I can read the quote.
For 10 minutes, I don't feel like hearing you read a 10-minute quote from Marco Rubio.
One of them or something?
You're going to do one set.
Oh my God. All right, look. I tried. All right, dude. Okay, but you're just being dishonest. All right now. Okay? You are trying to pull in a direct quote from a very small section of a much longer speech. That's what you're doing, and we're not doing it. Okay, Matt, go ahead. Sorry, probably double mute. Go ahead, Matt. Maybe. There we go.
Yeah. Yes. Now I'm back here. So correct. We have our goals are aligned alongside Israel's. And Walter, you are correct in stating that Iran just isn't simply about Iran. Now, in order for us to declare war and go for a regime change in another country, we have to actually get Congress involved. But in this case, what we're actually looking at is a designated foreign terror organization known as the IRGC that was attempting to gain nuclear weapons. They've killed thousands of Americans and launched lethal attacks here on U.S. soil. With that being said, the President of the United States does have the authority in order to take action and take care of that problem. As a byproduct of that, if the IRGC ends up collapsing and if the Iranian people end up rising up, if Mossad and the CIA are pushing their agents on the ground in order to make that happen, then they will. The public narrative that they're going to push out to the American people is going to be that of one that's going to be palatable because they're all politicians, which is exactly like you stated, why this program is named the political theater for a reason. They're going to come out and they're going to state certain things to their constituents that they feel like they're going to be home runs for them to continue to get themselves reelected and back in office. And so when we start talking about the nuclear program, most Americans would agree that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. Hell with most Americans, most rational people in the world would agree that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. And it wasn't just 60% enriched uranium, it was enriched well over 85% according to the IAEA. Iran has cut them off, not allowed the inspectors to come in and actually check out the locations, and everything since the 12-day war has actually backed out of that, and they are continuing to launch attacks. They're also continuing to fund terrorism, not just over inside of the Middle East, but also over inside of Venezuela, and also working over inside of Mexico alongside of the cartels. And all of this is verifiable. Feel free to go look it up. All right. And so we can sit here and we can try to blame the Jews. We can cherry pick different statements that are given by certain, political officials. But at the end of the day, the actual trigger authority has absolutely nothing to do with what Israel wants in this world. If anything, if we want to actually take this bullshit out of context, all right, and put it back into context, here's how you put it into context, and you know that Israel doesn't control the United States of America. When we had a U.S. citizen being held captive down inside of Rafah, southern Gaza, by the name of Hirsch Goldberg, Kamal Kamala Harris and Joe Biden ended up holding up weapon shipments going into Israel because they didn't want them to assault Rafah. And it held up for months. And the end result of that was U.S. citizens being killed by Hamas, which is a funded foreign terror organization by who? The IRGC, directly resulting in the death of American citizens. So if there was anything to actually point at to state that Israel is not in direct control of the United States of America, besides the public statements by Donald Trump during the 12-day war on the last days where he commanded Netanyahu to turn around the airplanes that were likely on their way to kill the Ayatollah, and he did so, they are definitely not in charge of the United States.
Yes.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to point out really quick here is people seem to forget, like like we haven't been arresting IRGC members illegally in the United States over the last few years. So, like, let's just reference June of last year, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh my, St. Paul, Minnesota, Seattle, Washington, even in Mississippi. We can go down. There's 11 nationals all over the United States, all tied to IRG, all IRGC actually, minus a few of them that were tied to IRGC members, and they were all swept up under the FBI counterterrorism task force, headed obviously by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino at the time. So these folks, and then of course 2024. You guys remember the kill to hire, where it was uncovered that they were hiring cartel and biker gangs for murder for hire plots on Americans on our soil and pro Iranian freedom folks in our country, right? So this has been happening for a long time. And regardless of the bombs and the weapons, which are obviously very dangerous, and even on our domestic soil, they have declared attacks on us, which is why they're operating here illegally. And we have every right to remove their leadership because, as Matt Tardio just mentioned, they are directly working with the cartels. And if you don't like that President Trump has to say that and did something about it, then I would put you right back to 2011 and 2012, Barack Obama's own State Department, which confirmed that they were all working together. So, I mean, unfortunately, you guys you can pick your little sound clips, but this is the reality we're in, and it's being handled.
Yeah, well, the problem I have with a
But
lot of it is
Chris,
the problem I have with it
yeah,
generally is the dishonesty in the fact that, guys, Iran has other things that we want from it other than just the idea that getting rid of one single part of it is, oh my goodness, it's the Israelis really don't like the Iranians and it's somehow going to advance Israel's interest. Israel is the New Jersey of the Middle East. I keep saying this, and I will say it consistently, and I will say it forever. It is the New Jersey of the Middle East, guys. It does not control everything in the planet. Not everything is related to Israel. Sometimes the giant superpowers of the world may have some geopolitical interest in the oil and the other things that happen around the Strait of Hormuz and, oh, I don't know, a whole bunch of other things that could possibly, I mean, it's just the idea that everything has to relate specifically to what Bibi Netanyahu has to do. My goodness, guys, you got to come up with something else to say because it's just not true. And it's not enough, okay? As Tardio just mentioned, everyone forgets the comment when Trump said that he was pissed. And what was it he said specifically? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Remember that? He was referring to the Israelis during that. Let's remember that. Let's remember that. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's what he was talking about. He was talking about getting those planes out of the sky. And lo and behold, they did exactly what he said. Crazy. I can't imagine why. I mean, it's like he's in charge or something. All right, Adam, you came up here. What's up, dude?
Thanks, man. Appreciate the mic. Definitely, it's a good thing. I believe, precision strikes. That's what we're about. I don't think we're gonna do boots on ground. Let the people of Iran have their country back. From this Islamic extreme regime. I'm quarter Middle Eastern, 3/4 Slavic, so from Syria and Yugoslavia. So I have an understanding of the region, and that IRGC has been a spawn of Satan. You know what I mean? It's a good thing that they're being taken out, and to the guy that speaks to the greater Israel plan, which is known. Okay, yeah. Some people have aspirations, that's fine. But how does giving Iran, give it back to the people of Iran, play into that? It doesn't. So that squashes that narrative there.
Well, I mean,
that
the real
people are trying to play on, you know.
well, the
And
real question,
Trump Gaza, baby, Trump Gaza. We'll all go
yeah, the
vacation in Trump Gaza in the future.
Well, I believe that the only solution is a two-course solution. There should be 2 golf courses in Gaza, the Trump Gaza Plaza Resort Spa and golf course. I think that's the best solution there. But no, generally speaking, here for the Iran, like guys, there are so many different things that are playing in here. The more important aspect that I always talk about geopolitically is obviously the only thing we're really trying to deal with is China. China is the only real threat that we have in the entire planet. Okay, I mean, it's just even the people that say, "Oh my God, Russia! Russia has an economy the size of Florida." I mean, guys, come on. I mean, just you want to talk
the
about
GDP is less than Italy.
Yes, it is a small country in comparison to the rest of the world. It is a advanced military technology, but even that, it looks like they can't even manage to really, completely conquer Ukraine. So it's not working out too well for them. Anyway,
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. The actions that are being taken right now are gonna only, create stability in that region. And you have Donald Trump's peace board that he's put together, tons of countries, Abraham Accords, and not for nothing, Jared Kushner has been instrumental in putting that together, I believe, helpful in bringing these, from the Saudis. We got the House of Saud is gone. You've got some new leadership there that's more open to Western women can drive there again. So the region can change for the better and look like, Iran from the 1970s, where women had rights and weren't beaten in the streets and bludgeoned and, people getting killed left and right by this extreme regime that just needs to be gone. And if you're against that, I don't know, that you're against stability and peace.
The great part about the great thing, Adam, is that now they're on like Supreme Leader number 8, soon to be a value meal on Taco Bell menu. So we're not too concerned about the current status of the leadership in Iran or lack thereof as we're speaking now, because there doesn't appear to be many of them left. Okay, Henry, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, man? I have one comment and then one question regarding Cuba. First comment is, Chris, yourself and Matt, I think you did a good job trying to speak to that.
Did I lose audio or did he?
Yeah, we lost.
Oh, okay, I thought I lost audio.
Okay, so it sounds like Henry, you might have to drop down and come back up. Did we lost you? Your audio dropped. I was wondering if it was me. Okay, Jordan, are you here too? Yes, maybe.
I'm here, but I'm on my way back from New York, so I can't talk very long.
No worries. It's all right. All right, so let's go on while we're waiting on Henry to come back up here. Let's go to Tarver. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Big fan. It sounds like you're pretty well in favor of the war with Iran. You said he talked about Trump when he said they don't know what the fuck they're doing. One of my favorite clips, by the way. It seems like since Charlie Kirk's death, he's kind of went like widely in the opposite direction of that. It looks like Charlie Kirk was the only one keeping him in line with that way of thinking, and then they just took him the fuck out. Okay, I get a lot of thumbs down. I must be a pro-Iranian here. I think I'm pro-American, trying to keep my soldiers. I was a soldier, trying to keep my soldiers from dying on behalf of a foreign nation. What interest does America have in this war? You really believe that Iran is the threat right now? That's really what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, Iran is not just a threat in general. Okay, like you're talking about to a foreign nation. One, the fact that we have military operations going on. One, that there's military operations happening at all times, all the time, all over the world. This just happens to be a larger one. Okay, like this is a much larger military operation. And what we're doing right now is we're wiping out the entire regime entirely, so we don't have to deal with this anymore. Okay, I mean, it is
What
not
is
a
it we were dealing with? What is it
dude.
exactly we
Okay,
were
so,
dealing
so
with?
hold on,
IRGC specifically.
guys,
Wait,
hold on,
what?
guys,
One
just
second,
hold on
guys.
just a second here. Okay, so it is actually very understood, okay, that the Iranians have killed lots of Americans, lots of them, for years. This is not new. Okay, this is not some new thing that just came out of nowhere. Okay, it's like they have been attacking the Americans' interests for, I don't know, 50 years. I mean, but you don't even need to talk about it that way. Okay, the reality is that they should have
If
made a
it's
deal
so
with Trump.
widely understood, then you'll be able to provide clear examples
Okay.
of the death toll of Americans by Iranians versus
Uh,
that of Israel, say, like in the USS Liberty.
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I can
really
give
quick,
you
Tarver.
that.
Let me do this. Let me do this.
Hold on, hold on,
I'm gonna
hold on
post
a
in the.
second. Hold on a second, guys. Matt, I know you can provide that, so why don't you go ahead and respond? Because this is a former Green Beret that actually was Special Forces. So go ahead, Matt.
1 out of every 5 Americans killed or wounded inside of the Middle East during the Operation Enduring Freedom was as a direct result of the IRGC. How many U.S. service members died aboard the USS Liberty in a fratricide situation aboard a CIA spy vessel that wasn't marked?
Why is it that we went
Answer the
to
question. You
Operation?
asked the
Why
question.
was
Now
it?
answer it.
No,
You wanted an answer to your question.
okay.
I just provided
Yeah,
it.
I
Now
don't
go
know the
ahead and
answer.
answer it.
I will
Oh,
admit
you don't want to
ignorance
answer
on
it.
that.
You don't want to answer
No,
it
I
anymore,
will
right? So
answer
just
it.
go ahead and
I will
step down and
answer
shut the
it.
fuck up
Say,
then.
I will answer it and tell you I'm ignorant on that matter.
Okay.
I don't
Okay, so
know
if
the
you're
difference.
ignorant on this matter, maybe you shouldn't be on a stage with hundreds of people attempting to blame this on something that you know literally nothing about.
I don't know anything
Maybe,
about
just
that
maybe,
one
the people
thing.
that are elected and in charge that have access to more intelligence than you, that have way more experience than you, that are 10 times more knowledgeable than you, maybe you should trust in them to actually do the right fucking thing. Stop listening to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and understand that freedom loving Americans are going to actually support the Constitution of the United States. You're not the one holding the fucking candle, sir. That I promise you.
So I hope that answered your question, because 1 in 5 Americans enduring a number of different things. It's not just that, okay? The Iranians have killed thousands of American troops, okay? It's not new, all right? This is not like, it's not like some sort of new thing, all right? This organization, the IRGC and the Ayatollahs, have killed lots and lots of Americans. And the problem is that we've had useless administrations for the past forever that have never been able to deal with this problem. Okay, the administration that actually tried to deal with the Iranians properly was Reagan. And I mentioned this to open the show. Operation Praying Mantis, when they wiped out half of the Iranian Navy in one operation in one day. They wiped out half the Iranian Navy then, and that was because of a number of different things. Okay, I mean, this is not new. This is not
Walter,
something new.
Walter, here, I think this is going kind of left. All right,
Obama sent them pallets of cash.
so
We've got Biden releasing $20 billion for
Yeah,
them to,
well, the
you know.
pallets of cash was
So-
that's an Obama extraordinaire. But go ahead, Jared, if you got something to say.
I appreciate Matt actually breaking it down. I was just looking on his feed, and it looks like I was watching his interview on, I think it was on Newsmax just shortly ago. And again, these are just questions ordinary Americans have, right? Most people are trying to focus on kitchen table issues, and Walter and I, we talk about politics all day, right? We breathe, sleep politics. I just don't support, and I think, Walter, you're doing this as well. I don't know if it's intentionally, but like, people, again, we can make a distinction between actual people who have it out for Jews. Lots of people just have the knives out for Jews, and we have to obviously put those people in a separate corner than actual freedom-loving Americans, which I think Mr. Tarver, he is, and he's asking a question, and I think Matt's response is just like, shut the fuck up and just listen to the people in Washington. And
No, it's
Washington,
not shut the fuck up. It's how about you gather your facts before coming to the table making accusations.
well, he
Educate
asked the,
yourself before
yeah,
you have a complaint. Properly
Matt,
do the research in today's day and age where you have more
Have you
access to
been
information
there?
readily available to you than Ronald Reagan
Matt,
did when he was president, to
yeah.
step up on a stage with hundreds of people and make an ignorant ass statement while we're in the middle of war and U.S. service members are dying, and you want to come in here and bitch about Jews? Sir, you better go do some fucking research
I didn't
before you
say
come
a
up on the
dang
stage.
thing about Jews,
He
so
did
I
not
don't know
say,
why
like,
you're
we have to
saying that.
distinction, and I think, again, in Chris, Walter, I think we have to distinction between actual people. He did not say anything about Jews. I was
Listen to
listening
me.
to him
So
for
guys,
4 minutes.
I've let this go for just a minute here, but guys,
This is ridiculous, Walter.
listen to me, okay? The ridiculous is one thing, but to be honest with you, if you don't know you should go find out. All right. If you don't know how many Iranians or how many of the Iranian people or the IRGC, how many Americans have died from that, go look. Okay. You can go look. All right. This is not something complicated to do. All right. This is something you can easily do. You can easily look it up. You can go see a full historical timeline of all of the dozens of times that the Iranians have done things to the United States throughout our history, throughout the entire history of the new Ayatollah regime, all of the things they have done. You can go find all that stuff out yourself. You should, especially if you're going to wonder why exactly we have a problem with Iran in the first place. If you wonder, go find out. Okay. You can come onto the show and talk about it. Yeah. And I've got no problem with anybody who comes up here and just is asking questions. I'll tell you. Okay. And that's why I had Matt respond, because Matt knows. Okay. Matt knows exactly how many people have died from the result of Iranians, let alone the amount of people that have died as a result of their equipment. That is astronomically higher compared to any of the stuff that just of their actual direct attacks. Okay. So if you want to actually go find this stuff out, you can go look and see that the Iranians and the IRGC and the Ayatollahs have been essentially the responsible for almost every major attack on U.S. installations across the Middle East for the past 25 to 50 years. Okay. That's just true.
Yeah, with all the respect, and I'm a friend of yours, that's not with what Mr. Matt did. He just
listen,
said,
I'm not
to
listen.
the people in
Yeah,
Washington.
everybody heard it, Jared. But let me make one more point here, really quick, to what
there's
Tarver.
okay.
Let me make one more point here to what Mr. Tarver said. And first off, let me just say, Mr. Tarver, you did serve, so I want to tell you thank you for serving this country. I understand your question. What I do want to direct you to, because the other part of your question was as it relates to Trump and maybe some honesty or consistency or why he acted. And I think there's this notion that Israel controls the president of the United States. So what I posted in the Purple Pill for anybody in this space that wants to see the consistency of the president of the United States, it's a video from him in the 80s. And he's asked about this after the hostage situation. And you will hear in his own words the consistency he's had for 47 years. Okay. And so if you voted for Trump or if you didn't, you can't say he's not consistent. He actually, and to think, he actually gave them a chance to walk off the stage and still come to the table and be civil. And they didn't take it because he knew they were not going to take it. To be real honest, that's why he gave him a couple of chances. And so it's just the consistency, man. And you got to do your own research. You got to look at these things before you come on stage and you make these statements. And I'm not saying you're intentionally doing this, Tarver, but there are some other people that are far more involved in spaces that come on a consistent basis and make false statements that are just not factually backed. So,
well, but more importantly, though,
are there conditions on this space that you have to be?
Jared, the only condition on this space is when I start speaking, no one else speaks. That's the number one condition because it's my show. That's how it works. So anyway, the one major caveat that I have to this is talking about the reasons that we're hitting them. The IRGC is here. Let me ask you a simple question, Tarver. Just a very simple question. Do you think Iran is a geopolitical adversary of the United States?
Yes.
Okay. So if a geopolitical adversary of ours refuses to negotiate with us, refuses to work with us, attacks our allies on a regular basis, supplies weapons and terrorist equipment and all sorts of stuff to all of the countries in the local area and has done so for, 50 years, and then we offer them an off-ramp, okay? We offer them an off-ramp multiple different times and they refuse. So we blow up their nuclear facilities and say, okay, you want to take that off-ramp now? And then they say no. Do you think it is a wrong thing for Trump to say, okay, you said no, now you're dead?
Absolutely not. And I would ask the exact same question formulated the exact same way about Israel.
Okay, well, then you can ask that same way about Israel, but Israel hasn't been attacking the United States on a consistent basis for the past 50 years. So...
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. They haven't been attacking the United States on a regular basis for the past 50 years. So that means that your question has answered itself. The IRGC is a geopolitical adversary of ours. There's your problem.
All right, so you're willfully blind. Apparently, I thought you're like I look at you as a good faith actor. I really do. I've listened to I've shared your stuff, but like they literally had just celebrated the biggest traitor in American history. That Pollard guy, Huckabee met with him, and he's calling for open nuclear attacks against America, and y'all are gonna sit here
What are
and
you
act like
talking about, dude?
that shit isn't a real threat?
What are you talking about, dude? Whatever you just mentioned, no one has any idea what you're just talking about. That is nonsense. I mean, I have no
When was
idea
the
what you
last
even
time
said.
Israel attacked the United States of America? This just come
Last
out what
time I
happened.
can remember is 9/11
happened.
for one.
So
Never
9/11
happened.
is
Thank
like,
you for showing your ignorance.
yeah, listen to me, dude. I'm trying to be as civil as I can here with you. Israel as a nation has never attacked the United States intentionally. And the only time that it has ever had any real conflict with the United States that you can even claim to is actually the USS Liberty. And that is 50 years ago, dude. That was a friendly fire incident that they admitted and paid us millions of dollars for, by the way.
Exactly.
Hey, sir, do you know who Pat Tillman is?
I do not.
You don't know who Pat Tillman is? Pat
He
Tillman
served around
was
the same time that you did, Mark. Come on.
Pat
Mr.
Tillman
Tarver.
was a former NFL player that ended up joining the military after 9/11, and he went to the 75th Ranger Regiment. He was killed by friendly fire in Afghanistan by fellow Rangers. Should we, for some reason, kick the 75th Ranger Regiment out of the United States Army?
Absolutely not.
Why not? Let's use your logic here with a
shit.
fratricide situation. Why should the 75th Ranger Regiment be kicked out of the United States Army?
Okay, shit happens. I mean,
Because shit
I
happens. So guess
understand that.
what? When you have a U.S. spy ship after the United States ends up telling Israel that we're clear of those waters and that we're not in there, and that ship remains in those waters, and it's not flying colors, it's not an official ship, it's actually hidden over there, and it ends up getting shot. Why would we give up our biggest ally in the Middle East
I feel like that
in an
y'all
area that's
are
filled with people that want to kill
excluding
us?
the knowledge that is coming from like things like the Epstein files or
What did
WikiLeaks
the
or
Epstein files have
anything
to do
like
with the
that.
USS Liberty?
Collusion,
And what do the
collusion
Epstein
of
files have to do with
of
fratricide?
Israeli Mossad, CIA against the
Where,
U.S.
where are
interest.
those at? Where are those at? Where are those at? Where is the clear-cut, concise information that says inside the Epstein files
All
that
right, all right.
the USS
I'm
Liberty was
sorry.
bombed intentionally
I
by
came to the
Israel, that
wrong
they attacked
space.
the United
Y'all
States
are
of America?
y'all are
Yeah,
smarter
you
than me,
did. Go
bro.
find Jackson Hinkle or Tucker Carlson, moron.
So look, I mean, we've tried to have this conversation. I was trying to be civil as possible, but Tarver, I've got to tell you, dude. If you come to my show, the people that I bring on my show are very, 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 very knowledgeable on the things that they talk about. Okay, almost every single one of these people is some sort of expert in some way about the subjects that they usually go on about. So if you don't know what you're talking about, and you come here and you want to ask statements and you say things, you don't be
You
surprised when
say
this.
you're knowledgeable, but you literally ignore knowledge.
No,
Like
buddy,
I'm
You didn't
buddy.
even
literally
know
sure.
who Pat Tillman was.
So hold on here, okay? You're not hearing me, okay? You are talking about things that do not exist and are not real, okay? I don't have time for that. I don't deal with that. I just don't. I don't have time for people who want to come up with nonsense or things that are unrelated and try and claim that things are happening that aren't happening, or maybe they could if someone explained it from 45 different angles. No one cares, okay? I mean, I don't care. I don't have time for it. You're talking about things that are not true, okay? The IRGC and the Ayatollahs have attacked the American interest for 50 years. The Israelis have not done so, okay? So if you wonder why we attacked the Ayatollahs and just blew them out of the water and killed all of the leadership, that would be why. And you've already admitted in the midst of this that you agree that the Ayatollahs and the IRGC are an actual threat to the country. And you already said that they are actually a geopolitical adversary. So with that knowledge, I guess we can just move on. We are running low on time, though, guys. So I want to go over to Justin Stewart real quickly, and then I'm going to go to Darth Kirby and Henry, and then we're probably going to be done by then. So go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, real quickly, the only other probably major confrontation between, I guess, geopolitically, U.S. and Israel is the Suez Crisis, when we condemned Britain, France, and Israel for taking action in the Suez. And I would say, this is my question: what was the deal with the Spanish government today? I know it's a socialist government, but
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't know why
Well,
that
see,
was
so here's the deal.
like a
So,
NATO ally like that.
well,
It's
so
like,
listen,
why?
Justin, what's really happening is that, we have a split amongst the Muslim countries of the world. So the UAE, the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, the Oman, all of those countries are backing us, and the French, the UK, and the Spanish Muslim countries are turning against us because they're run by communists. So that's the real problem there. I mean, I saw that. I don't know if you guys saw the Spanish demanded that we take all of our oil tanker or our oil fleet out of there, which was interesting. So the Europeans have been something else. I've been watching these people that are just, my goodness, Keir Starmer. Oh
At least the
man,
Germans stepped up
yeah.
somewhat. They're allowing us to.
Well, I mean, after the Iranians started bombing, British air bases, then they finally changed their tune. But these people are absurd. They really, really are. Okay, Darth Kirby, you have got your hand up. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, this was just this was more just to commentate on the people who had concerns about why we were at war. It was I basically wanted to bring a little bit of information that I wasn't hearing. Maybe you guys talked about this before earlier, but essentially, the biggest reason we're at war is because Iran was this number one state sponsor of terrorism throughout the region. They were funding the Houthis, they were funding Hezbollah, they were funding Hamas, they were funding all of those guys. And that's the reason why we were taking them out. They were the number one source of instability in the region. Not only that, we know that they tried to go after Trump as far as dedicating assets to assassinate him. So when you try to take out the head of state of the most powerful nation in the world and you think you're not going to be retaliated against, that's delusional talk.
Well, more interesting to me, what I think is even more interesting than that is I agree with you. Okay. And to be honest with you, attempts on the life of the head of state or former head of state or any official, doesn't have to be a president. Okay. Like if the Iranians were attempting to kill any of our officials of any capacity anywhere, I would consider that a declaration of war personally. But, the fact that Trump, even after he took office, didn't immediately just blow them away, like within 8 minutes of taking office, speaks a lot more to his character than it does to theirs.
Precisely. And frankly, it was an act of extreme patience and mercy, frankly speaking. But then we have more reasons than that to attack Iran as well. We have the fact that the whole nuclear situation with them pursuing intercontinental ballistic missiles and nuclear weapons. We have the fact that the Iranian people quite literally were begging us in footage that they managed to get out as they were being killed and slaughtered. Hey, Trump, help us, as they were rebelling against the regime. So it's just all of these things compounded together. And you're saying to me that one way or another, we weren't going to make a move on them? I just don't see that making sense in any world where the leadership was not completely ineffectual and emasculated. So the idea that we are going to war with Iran because of Israel? No, 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 no. We just have aligned interests with Israel. The fact that Israel's interests align with ours is just incidental because of the fact that we're allies in the region. That's it.
Yes.
That is the biggest reason why we are in this war with Israel. Israel just has been chomping at the bit a little bit more than us because they have a lot bigger of a stake in the issue. Their existence is far more threatened than ours by Iran.
Yes, well, and that's all true, and that's all true. I mean, the reality is that Iran is been the source of instability in the region for a very long time, and our insane government has not been able to actually deal with it appropriately. Some of our governments gave them pallets of cash. Some of our governments, restricted them. Some of our governments did nothing to them. The problem is that we in the United States, every 4 to 8 years, we have got new leadership that comes in and people coming with their new ideas. The more interesting thing out of all of this, though, is that if you really go back and look, the United States has actually carried out a 30-year doctrine plan that was laid out by Paul Wolfowitz, which is really interesting. I mean, essentially, the idea was that no single group and no single nation or power would eventually become the regional superpower in the Middle East. And that was essentially done because that was where our oil was. Okay, I mean, we needed oil at the time, but that's all changed after fracking. After 2000, whatever it was, when it was 2013, 2014, when the fracking boom happened, that changed everything. Okay, that changed everything. We don't necessarily need their oil. Now we export oil. So it's been a very interesting change as we've gone through. But for 30 years, we have actually managed to pull this plan off, which is very interesting. Each president did a different version of it. Each president had a very unique way of approaching the same issue, but they did actually do the same thing. If you really look at the way that it worked, so.
I wanted to bring that up too, about the fact that not only do we have all the things I mentioned before and that you've been talking about, but we also have the fact that Iran is the largest supplier of oil to China pretty much outside of, like, say, Venezuela formerly. I think Iran even then was the
Well,
biggest
so that's not
contributor of
necessarily
external
true.
oil.
The way that works, and this is actually an important aspect. All this is the China aspect. The China aspect is that China gets about 20% of its oil capacity that it buys on a regular basis from what's called discounted barrels, or in essentially just sanctioned barrels. So they get a discount on the prices. So they save about 15 to 30% on that 20% of their oil supply by buying it from sanctioned sources. And that's one of the Venezuela was about 7% of that. And then the IRGC and the Iran was about, I think it's like 12% of that. So, slowly chipping away at that is a good thing. But in terms of what this does, it just increases a marginal cost on them. It's not like the end of the world for China.
Well, it's not just China too. It's also Russia, because remember, they were supplying Russia with a bunch of the suicide drones for the Ukraine war. So
Yep.
it's multifaceted, the reasons why we attacked them in this moment at this particular time. With the whole China angle, the oil cutoff basically deters them from waging war against Taiwan, because you need oil to wage war. And if you cut that off,
well, I
then
think
you
the more
hamper
interesting way of dealing with this is actually that Trump just proved that the American military is still the superpower of the world, and that was just proven very, 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 very decisively in the past.
yes.
In the past couple weeks, that has been proven to be damn true. Okay, Henry, you're going to be the last word, and then we got to get going, guys, because we are out of time. Go ahead, Henry.
Hey, well, thanks again, man. I was driving and I was going in and out of the Wi-Fi as I was.
That's all right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I had a comment on Cuba, or a question really for the panel, but I just wanted to make a general kind of a statement to everybody. As I appreciate you guys trying to talk to that fella. There was, Chris and I were in another space before, and I think, this, man, I thought this guy was maybe. I feel so bad for so many of these people, man, because there's some that are obviously in bad faith, and there's other people that are just so far down the path that even if they're in good faith or trying to really be sincere, they've already been so like inundated with nonsense and terrible narratives. Separate from, we're already fighting the left, we're already fighting the corruption of the mainstream media, and then on top of that, we have to fight, which is part of this corrupt media plan, all this nonsense with Tucker and all this craziness. But it's unfortunate, and I appreciate you guys trying to get through to them. But yeah, it's some folks are just not they're just not there.
Oh, that's all right. Well, and generally speaking, guys, this show, I will let anybody come up here and speak. Okay, if you want to come up here and talk, and you're reasonable, I'll talk to you. But if you won't be reasonable and you don't want to hear it, then I'm just not going to listen to it, because, to be honest with you, I don't have time for it. Okay, I've got a lot of people that come on this show, and I've got good people that come on this show that actually want to hear some real interesting information, or want to hear good takes on information from people that actually know what they're talking about, and that's the purpose of this place. This show is designed specifically so that people can come up here and talk, and you can ask questions of people that actually might know a lot. Okay, you might actually run into people up here that come on this show that actually know what they're talking about, that are actually good at what they're talking about, that actually know what they're doing. And the part of the problem I have with a lot of the shows and the spaces that come on X is that they don't actually have any filter on it. They just let people kind of ramble, and that's disastrous, because, to be honest with you, if you say nonsense to a bunch of people, some people come away with nonsense and they go, wow, that was really interesting nonsense. Now I'm going to go tell everybody else about that nonsense. Okay. The reality is most people don't know what they're talking about, and that's actually kind of normal. Okay. Don't expect everyone to have some sort of expert opinion on things. But if you come to this show, the intention is to try and give you a rational take on things, and that's what we try and do here. That's what the political theater is. Guys, we will be back tomorrow night for more of the political theater, 9 p.m. weeknights, guys. I appreciate everyone who comes to the show. Make sure you guys follow everyone up here on my stage. I got good people that came up here this evening. Make sure you guys follow everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe to those who you can subscribe to. That's the best way you can support the creators on this platform. If you want to help me out, you go to wcdispatch.com. I've got a bunch of stuff on there, guys. There's a new website that has been interactive. I've got all of the Medicaid data has been loaded into an interactive map that you can actually look around at. You can see stuff. There is confidence scores. There's a bunch of things that are interactive on that website now. Guys, I appreciate everyone who comes to the show. We will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for more of the theater. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks.
Some folks are born with a liberty spark. Their hearts beat red, white, and blue. When the anchors sneer and the cameras bark, they turn the lens right back at you. Truth bound, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not the party line sons, no, we ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so Some folks inherit silk-lined halls, spend our sweat while preaching share. But when the tax man wraps his knuckles raw, their mansions suddenly look bare, impaired. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not their banker-raised hairs, no. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so... Yeah, some paint stars on press room lies and send the common men to toil. Ask them, how much truth will you trade tonight? They mutter, more noise, more noise, more noise. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. Not the theater's pawns, friend. It ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're America's steadfast one. No, we won't be spun.